left. Emergency phone is here. There's one in the copy room. The AED machine is down the hall. We have somebody with first aid experience, training, and fire access to right and left. Okay. Start the meeting. Almighty God, you have blessed us with memory, reason, and skill. Help us use it wisely in the service of our town government. We ask this in your holy name. Amen. Salute the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time I'd like to open it to the public. Anyone from the public wish to speak? Carl?
I just wanted to direct this to Alan. When I was walking in tonight, I made a comment to him about the sides of the road being so nice, and I just wanted to thank him for that. They're doing a real nice job on the roadsides. I kind of question him why, because in the past they haven't been so nice, and I wish to thank him publicly for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, no one else is on to the meeting. Before we get into I have a note from Celine. She's attending an IDA meeting in the county tonight, so she won't be here. And one thing we have to do is make a motion for advertise for a custodial service as well for bid for the budget. Have a motion on that?
A motion for bids.
Yeah, to go out to advertise.
I make a motion to advertise for custodian for the town of Champlain office buildings.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
My third thing is I received fax from Sally Sousa, JCO, and they're telling us the number of people they served for the month of July and August. 27 families, 36 individuals in the month of July, and month of August, 68, 106 individuals, and everything seems to be going real good. I talked to Joey Howe, and everything is okay, I guess, with them. First of all, you got your code officer's report and the zoning board, July 15th. It's all for your own information for you to read. I hope you guys read it. And the planning board on July 1st. And then we, the fourth one is a letter from Tom Renee on draft of local law number 5 pertaining to this one in subdivision. It's on zoning law on making that 5 members instead of 7-member board. We need a motion on this. We're reducing the size from 7 to 5.
We need to schedule a public hearing
Oh,
for next month.
Got a motion on it?
You're going to schedule a monthly meeting?
Yeah, we have.
I'll make a motion that we drop from 7 to 5 people on the planning board. And zoning.
A motion for a public hearing next month.
Yeah.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Okay. Julie, I'm gonna let you do this one. Seen you did the work on it. On subdivision regulations for surveying. You did the calling, I'll let you do the report.
Okay. Last month, Larry asked me to check in with the other towns in Clinton County. There's 14 towns in Clinton County, and 9 of the 14 towns have subdivision regulations. There's only one exception, and that is the town of Plattsburgh, and for a family transfer, they don't charge for the fee for the subdivision application. Every town requires subdivision regulations, they have surveys, and they require surveys for family transfers. There's 3 towns with no subdivision regulations, and 2 towns that are regulated by the APA. And plus the town of Saranac, they have subdivision regulations, and plus they're regulated by the APA. And the 2 villages, Village of Champlain, they have subdivision regulations, and the Village of Rouse's Point is working on adopting subdivision regulations right now.
Thank you. Next is a letter that I sent to Altona Correction Facility to William Brown. We're looking for some inmates to paint the garage. They still haven't responded. Next is PERMA, our rating, and we've done pretty good, thanks to Mick and Kim. That brings our rate down. Next is from Mike Zerlo, and he's looking for somebody, we can all attend a meeting in Saranac Lake on the 16th at 6:30. It's on Adirondack Park. And just something I can see coming, that we're gonna end up in the Adirondack Park. Anybody wants to attend that? This is a letter, Betty Little, on the grant program. Somebody wants to attend that. And then we have a letter from Pat Ayers of reappointment of Betty Trombley. Pat sent us a letter to Town of Champlain Board of Assessment and Review. Member Betty Trombley's term expires on September 30th, 2004. She has been a Town of Champlain Board Assessment Review member since 1987. She has served the Town of Champlain 17 years as a Town Board of Review member and a chairperson. She deserves many of our thanks for being such a dedicated public servant and taking an active interest in our community. I strongly recommend the Town Board reappoint Betty J. Trombley to the Town of Champlain Board of Assessment and Review for another 5-year term, starting October 1st, 2004 to September 30th, 2009. Thank you, Pat Ayers. I have a motion on this?
I'll make a motion to put Betty Trombley for 5 more years in.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's a letter from Jim Dion, and they, talking about maintenance aid. And we decided last year that we didn't want it. More for your information.
A motion on it?
Well, we already did. Meredith already sent them a letter that we weren't gonna use. You want a motion on it?
Yes,
All right.
yes, definitely.
Make a motion.
I make a motion that we don't have any company with their aid program, that we do our own.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, this is an neutralization rate. We didn't do too good on this. They gave us 100%, and then they took it away. They had given us 91%. Then they turned around after we called Albany and complained, and they gave us 100%. Then they turned around and gave us 91%, and they won't tell us why. This is what we're at this year. Okay, this is on, it's a meeting at Town of Plattsburgh Hall. It's a workshop for city archives, if anyone's interested in attending. One of you two? Yeah. Okay. Let me know if you do. Okay, next is Association of Towns. This is something that I'd like to have us sit down and talk with the judges. Apparently what the state is doing now is taking part of our surcharge away, the money that we used to receive. So we're gonna end up, our judges are gonna be working, we're not gonna be getting any money from them. So, I'm gonna try and get Jack or John to come in next meeting and talk to us on it.
Is that because they were the ones in the classes?
I'm not sure.
Is our meetings covered, can I pass it on to the Association of Towns?
Yeah,
We shouldn't be all right.
yeah. Okay, the next is, we received a letter from Alan Gibson, and it's, Mike took a test for code enforcement and passed it, and now we have to appoint him to, code enforcement and zoning officer, and I need a motion on this.
Make a motion that we appoint Mike for code
Yes,
enforcement and zoning officer.
do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Okay. Next is, on, local retirement system. We need a resolution, Jane,
Yes,
for a 6-day workday, right?
well, it's whatever you decide a standard workday would be for the title of recreation assistant.
Director? Any discussion on this?
That's on that, for that, Kurt?
6-hour workday?
Does everybody understand what this is? Linda belongs to the retirement system, the same system that we have here. And she attended a workshop at school where she works as a, I'm not sure if she's an aide or whatnot, but since she is already a member of that system, and she also works here as a recreation assistant, it is mandatory through the state retirement system that she also contributes to her salary here. It's just like what former council members, if they were teachers and so forth and belonged to the same retirement system, it was mandatory that their salary, they contributed to the retirement system through their salary. So this is the same situation. I did never realize that she belonged to that retirement system, and she just informed me. So we did call the retirement, I don't know, the lady down there, and she informed us that what we have to do is the board has to pass by board resolution standard workday, what we consider, or you consider, a standard workday for her. And she suggested a 6-hour day constitutes a full day. So what will happen now, if you do this, we have to go back from her first day that she received payment from the town as rec assistant, which was back in 1987, and send to the retirement system all the salaries that she received from that point forward. They would determine her contribution for arrears payment, so she can get this service, the days of service, credited to her. Now that's for anyone that belongs to the retirement system outside this retirement system. If it's the same one, it's mandatory through the state that you join this system.
we have to pay also?
She's been in the system for 20 years. So about 4 or 5 years ago, the retirement system said anyone with 10 years or more is not necessary for a contribution at 3%. We do not pay, we do not contribute to her, only she does. She would have to pay in arrears.
There's no cost then?
No. Other than just filing the paperwork.
And it's mandatory.
It's mandatory.
Why are we voting on it?
Because the resolution has to be in the minutes. That's what the, now it'd be the same thing with Red. I discussed this with Red too. He's also in the retirement system at Northeastern, and yourself too. So we would have to file the necessary paperwork with the retirement system. Go back to your day, first day that you started working here, and it's up to you to pay back.
More do you think?
Well, we can,
Yeah,
You
this
should
is
be
like
con-
an
you
extra
should be,
job. You'll raise your
listed,
pay.
100%.
you should be listed on the monthly report to retirement. And you could also do it in the same fashion, is to establish a standard work day for council members as well. You could do the same thing. I know when Henry was here, we recorded, I believe, 5 days a month for part-time individuals. So I mean, it helps to keep adding to the mix. It does nothing against the town in any way. It just helps the individual.
You got a motion?
So you want 6 days for her, 6-hour days?
If that's what I think you guys would like. Is that a motion?
Yeah.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? We'll do this one, and then we'll do the one for you guys. Because we have to do two, right?
Pardon me?
We have to do two of them, one for,
Yes, for each title. So you could do it for the council members as 5 days a month would constitute,
we need a vote on this.
So how many days was hers? 6 days?
no, 6 hours a
6
day.
hours a day.
A day.
What she has to do to fulfill the commitment to the retirement system is to log a typical month's activity and send it to the retirement system. They would then analyze it and determine how many days of service she should be credited.
I need a vote on this motion.
Aye.
John? Larry?
Yes.
Jules? I vote yes. Okay, the councilman,
How many councilmen are involved in this thing?
two of them. You and I, you and John Paul, and that's all.
I've got 20 years in with nothing.
Well, to the best of my knowledge, I just started last January, and the physical year for the state ends in end of March.
That's correct.
I got credit for the first 3 months of the year, I believe at 4 days a month, or 5. I think that's the way it was set up, I'm not sure.
This is at school,
No, here
here?
on this job.
Okay, well, we can research that. Like I said, I know what we reported for Henry.
I have no
And
objection
what
to
we
it.
reported to, with Brian Moore, who's also a council member. And we reported to the retirement system 5 days a month.
And I believe anybody in Tier 4, which is all the newer employees,
Mhm.
have to contribute 3% of their wages.
If you had 10 years or more, that was null and void. That's about 4 years ago.
Okay. Not worried about it.
But we can research it.
I contribute 3%. So it's still 3% of my total
Mhm.
salary. It makes no difference if it's based on 4 or 5 days a month.
Mhm. That's correct.
I have no problem either way. It's based on total dollars.
Mhm.
Somebody gonna make a motion?
I'm sure it would be.
Hmm?
Go ahead.
I make a motion that we give this to the retirement system.
4 days? 4
4 days unless there's a problem with it, 5th day.
I'll call and check.
That shouldn't be the problem. The day shouldn't be the problem, we'll
No.
start with.
So what, 4 or 5?
Well, whatever the state says, you have to have it in there. Do you know exactly what it is?
I'm under the assumption
That was 4 days, maybe it needs to be 5, I don't know.
We can talk.
Yeah, but it shouldn't make any difference one way or the other, right?
It makes no difference, because I pay 3% of my total salary on both jobs towards your retirement system.
You're already paying for it anyway.
They're both part-time jobs.
Roll call.
Somebody second it?
I second.
Yeah, well, you're saying 4 days or 5 days?
Well, it's just a problem with the 5 days, you'll have to put in 4, but it's the same amount of money, right?
Yeah, but we gotta make a, you gotta have,
We
You have a
can wait, why don't we
date.
wait till next month until I call, and then we can get more detail on the council members.
okay.
Okay.
You said a motion.
Okay, next is from Pockets Insurance on, we have to send them, Village of Champlain, copy of our insurance, and we have to send the same thing to us. And another, we have a letter from Village of Champlain from Joe Webb telling us that some of our water districts are not all established, which we're working on. That's all I have. Mike, you have anything?
Nothing.
Alan?
Yes, I have a request here from a lady on the Dumont Road. She's requesting that we lower the speed limit from 55 to 35 because there's speeding on there and she's afraid of who the kid she's got. And she called here and the only way you get that reduced, if the board passes a resolution, then we submit it to the county and then we can put a sign up and then the troopers can enforce it at 35 miles an hour.
DOT.
Yeah. But we have to have a
Where's this
resolution.
from?
Dumont Road, that's
Kings Bay.
Kings Bay.
Is that a dead end?
Yep.
They're speeding on a dead end?
By the time you get up to 55, it's time to stop them.
I followed it up, that's the only way, I have to put it in writing, and then, I'll bring it up to the board and go from there. But as far as going to put a sign there, I can't do that.
What would you guys like to do?
Well, there's no reason for it to be 55 there, like you say,
35 is plenty fast enough, I think.
on that road.
You know, put it in a motion and Alan will follow through on it, ask the state and see what we can lower it.
Yeah. I make a motion to go to 35 on the Dumont Road.
Have a second.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Ralph, does that come to you?
I got the form for him to use.
Anything else, Alan?
Yeah, I think the board, I want to put in a request for 2 weeks to rent that screener from Lee and Guile so we can screen the sand for the winter.
At what price?
$12.50 a week.
Is this something we've done in the past?
You went up this year, huh?
I thought we used to rent it for a month for $3,000.
Yeah, but we're not gonna rent it for a month
I'm
this
gonna try to
time.
push it for 2 weeks. We're working 10-hour days.
It doesn't matter, it's a 40-hour week anyway, when you're renting it.
Yeah, but
All right, you get it
I
done.
make a motion that we rent the screener for 2 weeks.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Alan, nothing else?
yeah, I'm almost done ditching the Schooner Road and another week of that or two, if the weather permits, then I'm gonna move to the Stetson Road. So both of those roads next year, I'm gonna try to get them done for paving. So it's gonna be like 3.5 miles. So if we try to do 3.5 to 4 miles a year new pavement, eventually we're gonna get caught up. say that if the weather permits this fall, you know, we keep on going, ditching and doing the roadside. A few culverts in the Stetson Road, I gotta replace, they're squashed, they're dirty, they're full.
Anything else?
While on the road, I'm gonna bring that in at the same time. He's gonna have the, for 205, is the Stetson and the Schweener Road, and we might be able to stretch it one of these other smaller roads.
Yeah, dead end roads.
And then for 206, it'd be the McBride Road, which is a good sized stretch there. Which is a 3 mile, and then we'll be able to do a couple of them small affairs that fit into the picture,
We
but
can
that's
fit
something we have to
between
look at. Which one?
3.5, 4 miles a year eventually, you know, what we have done now, you know.
When he gets it, when Alan gets it,
You got 5 minutes. Anything else, Alan?
That's about it.
Okay.
Is the telephone company checked with you on Prospect?
Yeah. They, you know, it's up to them, you know, how far they want to put that in. You know, so if we do decide to shrink that ditch, you know, I don't want to run into that wire.
We don't want them in there till we we don't want them there till we find out exactly how far we're going with it.
Yeah.
And we're gonna wait for, you don't know when he's coming for the engineer.
No, I haven't really talked to him lately. That's, I heard he was still working down the road down here. I guess they're pretty much done.
That it?
Why did they want to do that this year?
No. Oh, this year? Oh, I don't know. I
I
don't know.
think the
It
phone
said at one
company's
time,
already there.
we checked with them before they got involved.
Yeah, they did call, but, you know, we knew we had to shrink the ditch here. It's a matter of getting along, you know, putting the wire in the right place.
We have a problem with that ditch.
While we're on that road, did anybody ever find out about getting somebody to do the cracks in that road?
Yep, I have, yep. And he's supposed to come next week. We're gonna give you an estimate.
Franklin County?
Yep. Give me an estimate and kind of, you know, what it's gonna cost to put that in.
Yeah, that road's getting tore up this year with all that heavy traffic on it. Are you done now?
Yeah, I'm all, if you got any questions.
Building committee, Clifford and Larry?
Well, we poured the floor this week. We only got probably 1 day left to do, and that floor will be all done. And it really looks good.
We really like it. Anything else?
What's the boys think of that?
So far, so good.
Should able to get on their creeper and really go with that. That's all I got on the building.
Anything, Larry?
No, I looked at the floor, looks great to me.
Grants committee, John Paul and Larry? I told you about the engineers wanting to come down next week. And you guys are gonna make arrangements to, with everybody, so we can, we'll have that meeting?
Larry wasn't here when you told John.
No,
Okay.
I'm not aware of it.
Engineering?
When?
Sometime next week. So you two get together, what day you can make it, we'll call them up, any day but Monday next week. When we get the rest of the water committee and get together.
What's the best day for you?
Any day but Thursday.
Any day but Thursday. How about going for Wednesday?
Wednesday's fine with me.
Earlier the better for me.
Oh, you got that meeting 9:30 within that, right?
That's the same, you got, that's another one?
Well, we can change that.
No. No, we can put it another day then.
We can have that one on Tuesday.
Tuesday then.
Why don't you come in Monday, and we'll call and see what day they can make it,
Okay.
and then we'll go from there, either Tuesday or Wednesday, okay?
Yep.
It's fine.
Okay, Board of Assessment Review, John Paul?
Go ahead.
Well, there's nothing under, wouldn't be under the Board of Assessment Review.
Well, that's yours, John.
No, there's nothing.
Okay. Highway Committee, Jules and John?
I think we just about covered it with Alan's report there, that he's all caught up on the mowing the sides of the road, which is a very good job. And you let me know, and crack sealer for
Yep.
when he comes up, so we can look over a couple other roads that have to be done also. That's it.
Okay. Water and sewer, we've already talked about. Get 2 minutes left there. Landfill committee, Jules and John Ball.
Alan's got that all done also. That had to be done up there, and it's all
Yep.
cleaned up for this year.
Should go to that public hearing on this sewer use fees. We'll go wrong, number 6. Go ahead, Joe.
The town board of the town of Champlain will hold a public hearing at their regular meeting to be held on September 14th, 2004 as follows. Local law number 6 of 2004, amending chapter 103 sewers and article 2 sewer use fees of the town code for the town of Champlain at 7:30 p.m. All persons interested will be given an opportunity to speak or to offer written opinions, either for or against the proposed local law. Copies of said proposed local law are available for review at the town clerk's office. The meeting is open to the public. Other business will be taken up at this meeting.
Any comment?
I think I put in there what the fees are gonna be. Right?
Yeah.
Sewer fees, that'd be $14.80 per 1,000 gallons. I don't need the water.
No.
Okay. We need a motion on this to pass this. I need a motion. Anybody want to make a motion?
Sewer.
Sewer. Yeah, you got no choice. That's what they're charging.
I'll make a motion that we charge the 1480?
$14.80 per 1,000. Do I have a second on it?
Second.
Discussion. I just want to tell you something else. I guess you all know it, but with the water at $7.43 per 1,000, it costs people $22.23 for the water and sewer per 1,000. That's ridiculous. The guy that's looking to put a hotel here, you tell him that and he runs right out the door. Well, we never get anybody here at this rate. We gotta get our own water or make a better deal than this. Okay, we got a motion, we got a second. Now I need a roll call vote.
Is this a one-year contract?
Yep. Roll call vote, any more, Larry?
No.
Okay. Roll call vote, John?
Yes.
Clifford?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Jules?
Yep.
And I vote yes. Any other board members have anything?
You want a motion on the water hookup? Oh,
Yeah.
not, is that,
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve a $500 fee for new hookups plus cost of that hookup.
Okay.
I second that.
All right, discussion?
Residential.
Residential, okay.
Residential.
Residential only.
Residential only.
Joe Webb is making us up a price list on what they will charge for commercial. So we'll get that probably for next meeting. Depends on the size of the pipe, I guess. Any more discussion? I need a second on this motion.
Oh, you did?
Oh, did you? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Clean your ear.
You weren't loud enough.
I need a vote on this. I'll go roll call. John?
Yes.
Clifford?
Aye.
Larry?
Yes.
Jules?
Yes.
Okay. I vote aye. Anything else? Okay, we go to, I'll go to the public and then we'll go to the bills. Anyone from the public wishes to speak?
Yes, I'd like to ask a question. A couple of months ago, I think it was for the town board meeting, we asked if they were going to be putting signs down for where U-Ball has his business down on Ridge Road.
It's not up to the town board, that,
Well, I thought the zoning officer was going to check on that and make sure that was done.
I did. I talked to the guy in the county, and the county is not requiring any signs there.
They're not requiring
No.
signs.
They said there is no problem with the way it is. He sent me the papers and everything.
So his lighting and everything else that he has to do that isn't done, it's still okay?
Yes. He didn't need any lights at the entrance. The only lighting he would have would be around the office trailers down
Right.
And that's
And the
up.
sewer system was to
there.
be put in.
The sewer system's in, it's all been approved.
That was, but that's hooking to the old system, right?
No, they put in a new septic system.
They did put a new one in? Okay, just checking, because we haven't do ours, I figured they would, it's due.
anyone else?
Yep, I'm still looking, I heard Julie's report, but, my mother used to tell me I don't, if every other kid jumped off a cliff, would you jump off a cliff too? Just because all these other towns have this law that says, family transfers need a survey, doesn't make it right. It's no more right now than it was 3 months ago when I first started talking about this. The town has taken away a family's right to transfer property to their own kids. We have to get permission and go through all kinds of hoops. And I still think it's wrong, and I think this board ought to address it. It wasn't addressed originally when this law was passed, and I think the board ought to address it now.
I think we have. I mean, I think when we passed it, we did.
Let's be honest, Bruce, nobody knew what we were passing. This was never discussed, I was at all the meetings. I could ask any one of you what was in there, and I'm sure, if you're gonna be honest, none of you could have explained exactly what was in there. When I first asked the question, you pushed it off to the people on the board to give the answer. And, that's understandable. These things happen. A lot of other things going on. It's just, just because it's been passed, you passed, another board passed a 75-foot right-of-way for a highway, new highway. You changed that, made it 60 because it makes more sense. Well, changing this makes more sense too. And, I've yet to come across anybody who's talked to me about this who can see any logic in it outside of the people on those zoning boards.
We've never had anybody else complain to Calvin.
Well,
I mean, just one person. If we have one person come through the door and want to keep changing all these laws, what are we going to be doing? We'll be just sitting here changing laws all every meeting.
so you need 40, 50 people here to get.
I think we need, to be honest with you, I think we need more than one person. That's the way I feel. I'm about the rest of the board, but
Well, there's other people here. I don't know if anybody wants to stand up, but I know there's other people here who are present who have told me they didn't think it was right. I'm not going to speak for them.
I understand that.
I
Yeah.
had mentioned it. I had mentioned it before because we were giving our daughter land, and we're still waiting for a survey to be done. So we didn't know about that one yet.
I don't know, just, I think we need more than a couple of people.
So a petition probably would have to be done, huh?
I mean, if you have one person or two people come through the door and want us to change all these laws, we'd be sitting here every meeting doing that.
I understand that, Bruce.
And
I'm just talking that, this is just going beyond what a town should do.
all the rest of the towns are doing it.
And if they all jumped off a cliff,
It
as we
must
follow.
be-
Now, it doesn't make it any more right if
I
we're all
know.
doing it.
I'm not gonna sit here and argue with it.
I know that, but
I just,
you know, you're worried about the APA. You said, gee, someday we might be in the APA.
we are gonna be.
Yeah,
I
so,
can see that very shortly.
you know, and you know that, and you don't want it because it's too restrictive. Well, this is a local law that's too restrictive. I mean, we don't want the APA telling us what to do with our property. There's no need for them to tell us what to do with our property. We're not in the Adirondack Park. Anybody who thinks we are is sitting in New York City, looking at a map and saying, all right, we'll put them in. You know,
But you know, you can ask Mick, you can ask Jane, Julie, 90% of our problems here are from land that's not surveyed.
I'm just talking family transfer. I'm not talking throwing the whole,
Yeah, but it starts as a family, Calvin, and you end up with a problem.
well, if that family fights over that, then you got other bigger problems than that.
Have we had it here? We have, I mean. I don't know. If the board wants to make a motion and do it, fine by me, but it's up to them.
How many signatures would you have to get to change that?
I have no idea. Whatever would impress the board, I guess.
I mean,
You know, I don't know what it's gonna take. You know,
It's not the amount of signatures, it's what the board wants to do. You could have 500 signatures, if you feel it's the right thing to do, you change it. If you don't, then you leave it as is. We talked about this at the planning board meeting, and the board, again, they sent you a memo on this, and I could read it, but they strongly endorsed the subdivision as it's written.
do you have a copy? Would you read it?
Yes, it says, this is from the planning board to the town board. It says, "At this time, we would like to inform the board that we strongly endorse the subdivision regulations. We feel that there should be no exceptions to these regulations and everyone should be required to have a survey done. We are here to enforce the law and hope the town board supports us. Thank you." Signed by Carl Schenk, and the vote was unanimous that night. And the lawyer was there, Mr. Murnane, and, you know, we could argue about this all night with family transfers. If you've got 1 kid, 2 kids, it's fine. What if you've got 5 kids and you've got different wives, different families, and, I mean, the problems are endless. We researched this thing for a year and a half. This didn't happen overnight. And to go through it and say arbitrarily that you don't like a certain section of it, that's fine, but I don't see the justification for it.
I'm not talking about not liking a certain section. I'm talking about the town overstepping the boundaries of families.
Well,
Family-
that's up to them. I mean,
Family ought to be able, without getting permission, pass down property to their children. They shouldn't need to get permission from the state or anybody else to do that. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about all the rest of that law. You can sit there fine. When people think of subdivision, they don't think of giving property to their children. They're thinking of a developer coming in here and putting up houses. If I give an acre of land to my son and then somebody comes along, you come along a year later and buy it, well, you ought to survey it. Any property you buy, you ought to survey. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking giving my son an acre, so maybe a year from now, 5 years from now, he might want to put up a house. And the town has taken away that right, and I think that goes beyond the power that a town or any government should have. Now, this isn't a socialist country here, you know. So that's my whole point. It just goes beyond.
these are the same arguments that we heard when zoning was first talked about. And zoning's been around now 10 years. I mean, I wasn't involved with it in the beginning, but I'm sure it was rough then, just like the subdivision law. I'm sure we're gonna have some bumps in the road that we're gonna have to iron out. But I do believe, and I believe Carl believes that, and as everybody else on the board that worked on this, and the lawyer, and these other towns that we called, they firmly believe that you need to have surveys done on properties when you're transferring them. I mean, 90% of the problems we have are with incorrect surveys, no surveys, or I own this, no, you own that, and we're in the middle of it.
Well, then they survey it and they settle the problem, you know,
So why not have the survey in the beginning?
because you may not ever have a problem. That's why. You know, there are families that transfer property
Everybody, you're punishing
because you may
everybody.
have a problem down the road. You know, yeah, you might have a problem, then you might, and chances are you won't. I think if you looked at the family transfers that took place in this town, you'd find very few problems. There's gonna be family problems, but they fight over whose dog it is, you know?
They fight over less than that.
That's right, so, you know, we can't pass laws saying that families can't fight, because they're gonna fight.
You can pass a whole piece of property if you do not subdivide it without a survey,
Right.
am I correct? Okay.
But I can't subdivide it within myself. If I wanna, like, his parents wanted to subdivide their own property within themselves, and they couldn't do that. That is absurd.
I'm happy they had it surveyed. Now I know where my line is. They can stay on their side of the fence.
We've had a lot of problems in the past here in the town, and we don't want to name any names in this thing here, where they're in here in these different offices complaining about what was going on, and it was all family deals. It wasn't between strangers, but it was between families.
I mean, I
It
know
seems good
it's
the
an
first year,
expense.
but after a couple of years goes by and a few kids come around, that's a problem, then the problem starts.
I know it's an added expense like everything else. I mean, the cost of living keeps going up. Every time you turn around, there's a fee for this, that, and now the state is tapping the town funds from the fines. Subdivision is no exception, but unfortunately, I believe it's something that we need. And that's my opinion.
I sold my farm. I've been there all my life. I reserved 4.5 acres. I had to get it surveyed, and I'm going through a subdivision with the village of Champlain.
What did you give it to your family?
No.
No, what did you say?
Well, what I'm saying, I've been living there all my life, owned it, without having no survey, but to keep it, I gotta get it surveyed.
Right. You'll sleep better knowing that it is officially yours.
Got to survey it to give it to yourself.
That's right.
I think you have a gentleman here who has asked you a question. And it's a legitimate question. He owns his land, he pays his taxes. He should be able to do with it what he wants to do. He's one person, but you had one person ask you to lower a speed limit from 55 to 35, and you took action on it tonight. And that's one person. This is a person asking you to let him do what he wants to do with his own land. Here, you've got to go to the state, you've got to pass get a local law, don't you, to change that speed limit and all this? He's asking you to let him do with his land what he wants to do with it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Anyone else? Any other comment? George?
Bruce, you mentioned that we're gonna be under the Adirondack Park. What gives you that feeling?
I just have a feeling that they keep closing in.
They haven't expanded the Adirondack Park this way.
Yet they haven't.
They tried several years ago. And if they try again, I would hope that this town board would unanimously object to that. And if the whole town does, you can stay out of that. We don't need to be in the Adirondack Park.
I agree with you 100%, but you can feel them breathing down your neck. It's
Well-
just what they would like to do, and you know that.
Well, this meeting, this particular meeting, I contacted Mr. Zerlo on it. He said, there's really no sense of you guys going. He said, you're not in the Adirondack Park. It's to talk about the Adirondack Park. But, I'll tell you one thing, if I'm mayor of Ross's Point and they try that, I will certainly put on a drive not to be in the Adirondack Park. I've had enough trouble with DEC over a sewer line that I don't need the Adirondack Park.
Anyone else? Anyone have anything to say about Calvin's problem? My thought is, I think that we should try this for a while and see. And we're gonna have to change some things, and if we do, and look at everything and change it on the subdivision. There's gotta be things in there that are not right. It's the same way when we did zoning, we've changed stuff. But I think we should try it for a while. My opinion.
Well, my son was gonna put up a $150,000 house there this fall. He's not gonna be there now. So, it does cost you some tax money too. These things do affect you. You wait till 10 people out, want to transfer something and find out there's a problem. I don't think there's that many people with that much property that you're talking a huge percent of the population that's going to be causing problems here. The question is whether it's right or it's wrong, and I just think it's wrong to tell somebody that they can't pass on property. Now, Peggy said I can do what I want with my property. I understand zoning. I'm not going to put up the proverbial pig farm here. Just want to give my son a piece of land. It's been in the family for 3 generations.
If your son was to put a house up this fall, would he have to get a survey done?
No, you checked with his lender? No.
The lender does not require a survey.
Some do, some don't. You can find some that don't.
That's news to me, but probably right there.
The bank's not gonna demand a survey?
Yeah, he's got some that will,
You
some
wanna
that
put that
won't.
bank on a map somewhere, because everybody's looking for those banks. All I know, they need a survey or they don't do any business with you.
Excuse me, but my daughter, the stepdaughter, has her house already built on our land. Doesn't have to have a survey either because she's not going through bank. They're doing it as they can. And the land is, they're already on there, but then I have to get a survey also because it's family giving away the property. And there is a house already there, and it's been assessed as such. So what do you do in that case? Can't use it as the bank not giving the money because they're not going through the bank. And we want to give her the property too as soon as we can, but we're waiting for a survey. And they take their sweet time.
All the zoning board has to do is if somebody comes in front and says, well, we got this big argument over this, then all right, survey it. They'll tell you that. I don't know why the zoning board would get involved or in anything like that. If people can't decide where their property lines are, why should the town tell them? You just say, go get your survey.
A few months ago, we had a big discussion here. We had a lawyer here over a piece of property. Guy wanted to put a business there. Go out and measure it. And it's not surveyed, so you don't know where to start from.
So,
So,
that doesn't mean a person shouldn't be able to give property to their child. We can always pull out abstract problems. Of course there's problems with lack of surveys. I'm just saying you're taking away the right of a person to give property to their child. And that, I think, is wrong.
anyone else have anything on that?
No, I gave my house to my son about 2 months ago. And Bill Favre was my lawyer. And the first thing he told me, you have to get it surveyed. Because if you don't, he said, you're gonna get in a problem, I'm sure. Because I got that long driveway and in fact, it's not right, and then the other sons start an argument. So he said, you better get it surveyed.
Well, if I find a lawyer who says he'll transfer the property without a survey,
Anyone else? go to post audit bills for your review. And, approval of the monthly bills. Any motion on that?
Make a motion to pay the bills.
Want a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Need a motion to adjourn.
No.
Made a motion?
To adjourn? Yeah, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Done.